Hello YouTube, my name is Michael, and in the spirit of previous YouTubers and cooks, this is my very first video. I am an experienced cook, but I'm sharing a recipe with you today that, if you look here at this sign, it's called Chorizo and Peppers Pizza. But what it is, I'm not making the dough. I'm doing a hack to make a pizza with a $6. Make a $6 pizza taste like a $25 pizza. Better. This is such a good recipe. I cannot wait to share it with you. It is the bomb. And everyone I've ever given it to, they really like it. Okay, so what you're going to do is unwrap your pizza. You're going to set, it doesn't have to be necessarily this pizza. It could be any pizza. So just follow the directions that are on the box for the time and the temperature. And then add 8 minutes. Because what we're doing is we're adding volume of ingredients which add to the weight, and we're using chorizo and it's raw, so you definitely want to make sure the chorizo is cooked, especially if you're using the pork one. I'm using the beef one. Okay, so what we do, number one, whenever you're starting a recipe and you want to be right, you got to sharpen your knife. And we use this, we found these knives at the thrift store. What are they called? Chicago Cutlery. Oh my gosh, I've been cooking since I was 14 years old. Chicago Cutlery. It'll cut your hand off. So we put this pizza right here. Okay, first thing we're going to do is our peppers. So if you don't know how to cut a bell pepper, just cut it in half like this. And then you pull the middle part with your thumb and yank it out. And then just slice it in strips. This is a giant red pepper, so I'm only going to use a quarter of it. If you have a small one, you could use half. So I'm just going to chop this into little pieces. Maybe, I don't know, 5 millimeters. Little tiny, not julienne or anything like that. Just, I don't even know. Like little pellets. Like that size. It's good enough. And we're using red pepper. And I'm going to get, and pull out the center core like this. Save your seeds and plant your seeds. Because you can get bell peppers out of store-bought peppers. Okay? That goes with anything. I plant everything. Because I know, what's going on. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm just going to cut another part of that. Save the middle part for seeds. You can share your seeds with your neighbors too and show them how to plant. There's no sense in wasting them. Actually, some seeds cause cancer and some seeds get rid of cancer. I used to be a registered nurse for 18 years. But I've been many things throughout my life. I've been a chef. Sorry, I grew up poor, so we always had to work. You want school clothes? You gotta work. You want a record? I don't even remember I didn't even get a car till I was 19. I wouldn't say I was nerdy, but yeah, when you're poor, you gotta do things differently. But I did like the first car I got. I was happy. Not that I waited, but that I was lucky enough to get the one I wanted. Okay, so we have our bell peppers right here, the red and the yellow. And then we're gonna get an onion. And this is good advice right here on how to cut an onion. Here's your onion. You have where the roots come in, grow into the ground, and the top part. Cut both ends off. Ends are missing. Turn it on one side. Cut it in half. Excuse me. Peel off the brown part and the first layer so it's not tough. I'm just going to use a quarter of this. So let's cut it like this. Just follow the lines that are naturally there in the onion. You'll see them. And then turn it the other way. A quarter turn to the right. And then just chop. Always keep your hand cusped like this so the knife never has a chance to cut your fingers. I actually don't do that normally, but I've been using the knife for so long that I don't necessarily need that. But I have cut myself before. Okay, so with your peppers and your onions, you're going to throw them in here. You're also going to get 2 cloves of garlic, and put them in a garlic press, or finely mince your garlic with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and you're gonna throw the olive oil and the garlic inside the peppers. You know, and once you have this recipe down, it's not gonna be hard. It's not gonna be so long-winded. It's really simple, and oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, and then half a teaspoon of pepper. We don't measure in this house. We don't have to. And then I'd say 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I always use the pink salt. It gives the body's minerals. It furnishes your blood. We are electrical beings, and sodium is something that's going to help you. Okay, you take all the mess. Clean as you go. Otherwise, you end up with a big mess. Anyway. All right, so the next thing is grab your pizza. Oven's almost heated up. You're going to add your cheeses. For this recipe, we are using provolone cheese, which adds a really smoky, wonderful flavor. Melts perfectly just like mozzarella, but it's not as stretchy. A little bit of sharp cheddar and some mozzarella. I used to work at an Italian restaurant in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that pizza shop was called, they served everything Italian. It wasn't just pizza; they had everything. So I learned and I retained all those recipes, but that was like 30 years ago. This particular recipe is not theirs, but I'll be sharing theirs. Shout out to Paisanos in Albuquerque and Rick; they were good people. Anyway, so I'm gonna get the provolone cheese and just intermittently place it so that there's pieces of the provolone cheese on the bottom on basically every bite. And then I already had previously shredded some cheddar. So just like 1/4 cup, because we're not making enchiladas. The pizza's already rich enough, you don't need that much cheese. Okay, so we're gonna just spread out the cheese evenly. Just like that. And then the mozzarella. This is probably too much mozzarella. Whoops, I'm making a mess. It's my first video. I'm allowed. Second video, if I keep making messes, you can call me on it. Okay, so the bell peppers, the onions, the salt, and are marinating. I'm gonna just make little tomato rings. This is a Romano tomato, thinly sliced. You don't want to. I don't like to bite into a big old juicy tomato that squishes when I bite it. I had my pizza the other night that it was like that. I'm like, why do these taste like fish? They weren't good. Okay, so and keep your toppings more towards the edge. And then once you have the edge, then you can fill in the center. Okay. We're almost done. So now, this is a double thing of chorizo. Mexican beef chorizo. Chorizo is wonderful with eggs. And I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to eat it. But I don't eat the pork anymore, but I do eat beef still. So, you have the intestine casing. You're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to squeeze this like a tube of toothpaste. Squeeze it on there. And yes, I washed my hands before this. You know, when you cook at home, nobody wears gloves. That's a new thing. Germs build your immune system. If you don't have germs, your immune system becomes weak. It has nothing to fight against. It's like you're a boxer and you're not training and you're just sitting around home and getting fat like me. You know, you're going to be weak. But if you're training and your immune system is training and you feed your immune system correctly with nutrition, like fresh pizza. This is a fake frozen pizza with real toppings. Okay. So what happens with the chorizo is just so cool. You're gonna be blown away. And you can add more or as much as you like, but I would add at least 1 tube. I'm gonna add a little bit more just so it can give more of a dramatic effect. Because what happens is the chorizo kind of melts into the whole ingredients and forms like its own layer of meat. And it's like cutting into a very deep dish pie. It's beautiful. And it tastes really good. Okay, last thing. I'm just gonna get these peppers with the garlic, the salt and pepper, and the onions. And just run it over the top. Just like that. Don't be afraid to get that olive oil on there. Olive oil is very healthy for you. And we're not cooking at very high temperatures. So, you know, if you scorch olive oil and you're cooking, trying to fry with it, that's not a good thing. But if you're cooking at lower temperatures, it does nothing but good for the body, okay? What am I forgetting? Oh, one more thing. Pardon me, I'm going in the refrigerator. Okay, I usually try to get the shaved cheese, but this time I'm just gonna dust it with Parmesan. And the oven was already hot, as you heard the bell. And it's kind of fun to put the Parmesan cheese on the crust as well, because it makes every bite good. So that's basically what it can look like. If you don't have yellow peppers, you can use green peppers. If you don't have green peppers, you can use green chilies. You can modify it any way you want. This particular combination tastes really good. Don't put too many red peppers, yellow peppers, and orange peppers together at once. I would use 2 colors, not 3, because it gets, for some reason, it turns into fire, and it is not digestible. You'll be burping, and you know, if you're older like me. Okay, so the box here says 400 degrees. So I had already preheated that 9 to 12 minutes. So we're gonna add 8 minutes onto that. So the chorizo cooks. You want it to be brown, like a crispy, bubbling brown, and melt it into the top. You'll see it at the end. And but you don't want raw meat on pizza. Doesn't sound cool, okay? So I'm gonna let this cook for 20 minutes, and I will get back with you. So there's gonna be a pause because we're not high tech in this house, okay? Maybe one day we will be, but yeah, we'll be back. It'll be a break, and then I'll be hello. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm back, and our pizza is just about ready. I have to be honest and let you know that we had to add like 4 more minutes. You want the chorizo to be crispy on the top. That way, if it's a little thicker, it cooks all the way through. Like I said before, and I'm just gonna add a little dust of oregano. And pray for a pizza cutter. You know, we found okay, oven on. All right, so this is what it looks like. Oh, it's really one of the best pizzas. I'm gonna share about 4 other pizza recipes with you, but this one's the bomb.com. Because what you're gonna get is the nuttiness of the provolone, the sharpness of different cheese, the spices and hot of the peppers, plus the garlic and the oil. The combination with tomato, it tastes really good. So let me cut into this so you can see. This pizza could feed, you know, 4 people or 3 Americans or 6 other people. I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm just gonna cut it into 8 pieces. I actually know how to make pizza dough, and I never got good at tossing it, but yeah, I can make any kind of dough. All right, let me see if I can. I forgot to get a plate. Oh no, we don't have a plate. Can you imagine? I'm so sorry. Like I said, it's my first video, so let's not burn ourselves. Another thing I wanted to mention with this pizza, the total price of all the ingredients for this 4-pound pizza is probably about $14, and I live in California. cut that a little bit. See, I'm weak in my old age. Can't cut it. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what? Okay. Don't film me. I'm struggling. Okay. So that's exactly what it looks like. And my friend here, Terry, thank goodness he's helping me. But he's had this pizza before. Terry, what do you think about this pizza?
Good.
It's really good. Okay. So I'm just going to dust it with oregano. Really finely, because you don't want to get a stem or something. You know when you bite into something and you're expecting something soft and all of a sudden you get something nasty? You don't want that. Okay, so my next recipe is going to be guacamole with a really cute presentation. It's just darling. You're going to think it's a Beanie Baby, but it's not just a green plop of stuff on your plate. It's really cute and so easy and natural and healthy. This is something you don't want to eat more than maybe once a month, twice a month. But it's a very inexpensive meal. You can feed your family for very cheap and very delicious. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless you and all your families because you are bellissima.